and welcome to this tutorial. Today I'd like to teach you how to do a pole sit. So as usual, make sure you're nice and warmed up, make sure your pole is clean, and if you want any grip, go ahead and have that nearby, okay? A pole sit is definitely a beginner. I don't find it very difficult, but just to warn you, it may feel a little uncomfortable on your thighs. So we'll learn a few tricks on how to make that a little more tolerable, but with anything pole, repetition and just training ourselves to get used to the pain and the pulling of the skin is just part of the sport. So to set up for our sit, the pole will be in between our thighs. We're gonna have one leg crossed over the other as you would if you were sitting in a curtsy style or a cross-legged style. So you can come close to the pole. You'll have one hand, we're not gonna have our hands outstretched or arms stretched out like this. We'll have our arms bent here, we're close to the pole, and we can go ahead and see what it feels like to sit on the pole. So we're gonna have one set up here in the middle of my leg. You don't wanna be too close because that's gonna be really uncomfortable. But we can come right here and we'll bring the other over this leg. So pull up onto the pole, gripping tightly, come close and sit. Now a trick here is to just go ahead and lean to one side, okay? Preferably the side of the leg that's lower. Okay, so again, coming here, we can put our leg up fairly high, hip height or a little higher. That way we're not sliding down onto the pole. So we can get enough height on there. So again, setting up, pulling, bringing the other leg on top, crisscrossing my legs, squeezing between the thighs. I'm gonna go ahead and lean to the opposite way, okay? This leg is higher, I'm leaning away from it. Other side, okay? Come down. If that hurts and is uncomfortable, that is normal. It does hurt. It's still a little uncomfortable for me, but it does get better. If you want to go ahead and try the other side to see if that side is easier or more comfortable, you can. So left arm goes above, right hand goes under, and I'm going to put my left thigh on the pole. I'm going to pick myself up to the pole a little bit and wrap my right leg over my left. Come to the pole, lift yourself up. Now you're squeezing in between. I'm going to lean the opposite way. So my right leg is higher, I'm leaning away from it. Or I'm leaning on the other side of the pole from that, okay? This will allow you to eventually take your hands off. If I'm straight behind the pole and I'm not leaning, I'm slipping, okay? So that is the key tip here. Going into your pole sit, leaning away from the leg that's on top. Once you get comfortable with your pole sit, you can learn how to do it on the pole a little more elegantly than just hopping up on there. I would suggest that you can learn how to hop into your sit. So you can do a little jump, squeeze, lean, okay? This is a good start, keeping both hands on the pole. The next thing would be to take a hand off, okay? Eventually, while you're leaning, you can have a little more contact, maybe on your stomach. Shouldn't be pulling there, but here, or you can elbow grip. All right, so a few things we can do with our legs. We can cross them like so. Lines are always beautiful. You can have one out like this. So the one that's underneath and not crossed over would be extended. And eventually, you can lean back into a beautiful extended sit here. Okay, so that's one way to get higher up on the pole, is to just jump up. Another way to get into your sit higher on the pole would be to do a climb first. If you don't know how to climb, then eventually you can learn how to climb and do that. If you do know how to climb, you'll do one climb. So I'm gonna set up for my climb here, push up, re-grip into my forearm grip, wrap my legs, and lean. Okay, so that's one option. a slightly easier option from the floor would be to just go ahead and do a walk around. So we would start walking around the pole, inside, outside, inside. Once I get to where I'm going to my outside again, I'm going to grip the pole, swing that outside leg, small circle, hike my legs up and come to my sit. You should be able to let go with one hand, and you're not too far away from the ground, so it's not too scary to let go with one hand. Okay, so again, we can go outside, inside, outside, inside, coming close to the pole. Okay, you don't necessarily have to lean away from the pole if both hands are on. Okay, I have enough grip in my arms and hands to where I don't need to lean. But if I want to start taking my hands off, you're gonna feel a much better grip if you're leaning. Okay, if I want to take both hands off, I can also come and lean forward a little here. Now, that definitely puts a little more pressure on your inner thighs, and it can put some tough contact on your hip bone. So I would say that would be a variation that you would want to try once you get really used to it. You can try to come in front of the pole and let go with both hands. So those are my tips for learning your sit and a few variations. Hopefully you learned something new today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.